Oh, yeah.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, everybody?
Sorry I'm late.
Well, nobody
No
knows
worries.
you're late.
Oh, that's true. I was late to guys. I was late. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I just got back from Europe like yesterday.
And boy, are your
Yeah.
hands tired.
Oh my god, yeah. But I got upgraded to first class on Lufthansa, which is really
Nice.
cool.
When you said you just got back, you mean you
I got back last night at 5.
last night.
So get
Okay.
this, I left Germany at 1 p.m. Friday, flew for 14 hours total, and got back 5 p.m. on Friday. So
Damn.
yeah. But yeah, they upgraded me. I just had an economy ticket, and I went. You got to scan it at the airport before you go on to the plane. And as I was going on the plane, it went beep, pick your ticket. And a little ticket came out of the scanner. And I'm like, all right. I just thought it was a verification. I went down and I started going through to get on the plane. This big, just like A350, like giant plane, only had 17 flights. Like it's like that new. You can smell the new car smell. So I go down.
It's a new plane smell.
And I go down, and the guy stopped me, the flight attendant. He looked at me. He said, "Oh, you got a ticket?" And I'm like, he goes, "Oh, okay, you've been upgraded." So he brought me there, and I had my own suite. Like it's about 6 feet wide by, I don't know, maybe 12 feet wide.
Damn.
It was pretty wild, man. I watched like 5 movies and ate and drank the entire trip. Didn't even sleep.
Nice.
So anyway, that was
Nice.
my trip home from Germany from Gamescom.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Just show you my Euro 10. Yeah, it was pretty hot in Cologne.
Did you get a chance to go any like retro stores there in Germany?
No, I was at Gamescom, so like I had a full schedule, so I didn't I went to the hotel, to the Gamescom, to the drinking houses they call them, where it's kind of funny, like you go and you get like restaurants all over there, but you get a little 200 ml, which is a little kind of glass, and you get to put it on a coaster, and if you don't put the coaster on top of the glass, they keep bringing you new beer, like another beer. So I spent most of my time after.
Nice.
Yeah, so no, I didn't get to see anything.
But I'm sure you got to see a lot of cool retro stuff at the show.
No, it's not really. Well, there
If
was a
you're
retro
working at the
area.
show, you don't really have a chance to like walk around the
I didn't
show,
get a chance to
right?
walk on because I was working, right? So I was like,
Oh yeah,
right.
that's right. That's
I
right.
had a 10-hour schedule every day. So when I was done, I just wanted to get out of there. My feet were tired and everything. But I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
see there is retro shops there. I just didn't have a chance to go into them. Plus, I mean, I'm not like half that stuff you can't play here anyway, right? Because of
I was just thinking that it's like if it's all retro stuff, it'd be PAL.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's Germany's a great spot. Nice people, really nice people. Different sense of humor, for sure. Yeah, but I didn't manage. That's why I stayed up the entire flight. So I just slept a normal sleep last night.
Nice.
So what have you guys been up to?
Oh, you know the usual. Busy.
Oh, Rich is sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, Gandalf isn't feeling too good. Well, let's see. Who do we have in the chat? Let me say hi to the chat, and we can talk about stuff. Got Rasta. Oh, Crazy Burger reported there's a Spectrum mini console coming, so there's less need for specky games in Evercade. Okay, the latter, my opinion. We got Crypto Coffee, channel member Fan and Fiction. We got Ray Finkel. Got Tuxo, Nathan Foster, channel member Ballistic Coffee Boy, channel member Joe Whitlash, and Lloyd JRM. Got Nathan Foster. RMGB TV says he'd be late to his own funeral. That's funny. And channel member Elio. Man, lots of comments. And we have Crypto C Guy. It's where Evercade is only Hardware 3 release. Yeah, good stuff to talk about. My wizard fights an evil curse. Oh god, it wore him out on card. Probably. All good stuff. So yeah, we've gotten most of the big news, right? Except for December's carts. We're still waiting. We're still waiting on
Really,
that.
there was big news.
I said we've already gotten the big news. Legacy of Kane.
Oh, I'm still
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for big news.
I love that. We should be getting carts this week sometime, right? Anything been shipped out yet?
Actually, yes. Rich, he got his fun stock notification.
Oh, did he? For that was
Tomb-
for which collections are coming this way?
Tomb Raider and Thanos.
Okay. And your Evercade R's, right?
No,
The EXP has been delayed, but the R has not been, right?
the
Right,
R,
yeah.
not the R's.
Yeah, the
Only
VS.
one.
Yeah,
VS.
but no, the VSR, right?
Yeah.
Is it a VS? I don't know.
This is the VSR. The
They're both
XPR is the
Rs.
one that was delayed.
I don't know anymore. Trying to figure that out. Tired of figuring out which is which anymore.
Yeah, lots of people have already received their Tomb Raider carts in the UK. Good for them.
Oh, they have? Snap.
Yeah,
So-
because it seems like they get their stuff before the release date if they've pre-ordered it.
Yeah. Well, because Fun Stock is I think in Europe, right? So it's only.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get any notifications. But
No.
I didn't order from Fun Stock.
Yeah.
Nor did I.
I'll probably get mine either on Friday or Saturday. That's usually, it could be Thursday. Usually it's on time a day early or a day late from Video Games Plus. Unless I magically get it today. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting those with all the ever delays that we've been having.
Yeah.
I'll get them when I get them. I'll forget about it, and then they'll show up in the mail.
But then we'll be getting 2 carts every month though, which will be kind of nice, I guess.
Nah.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what the carts are. I'm not really. I mean, there's really nothing really looking forward to other than the alpha.
Really?
Yeah.
I look forward to the carts no matter what. Actually, I was kind of talking about this last night. Is that for me? It's how exciting is it just to get a physical thing, in the mail, right? For me, it is. Especially with everything.
I order stuff off of Amazon all the time.
Yeah, but do you order physical?
Well, yeah, it comes in the mail. I physically have to open a box and take my thing out, regardless of what it is.
No, but that's different though. Household stuff. I don't get as excited. But in 2024. Yeah, but in 2024 though, I mean, yes, it's cool that on Steam you can buy a game and it instantly shows up. But there's something for me at least it's neat, getting it in the mail and opening it.
I'll show you some stuff. Here,
No,
it's a Megatron that turns into the his thing. His kit.
No, I mean, but that's not. But that's
Oh,
cool.
that's
But that's not that's not a physical game.
It's a physical object though.
Well, yeah,
It's
but for me,
a turtle transformer.
Yeah.
Crow, did I tell you that
It's a Wild Stallions album.
Oh my gosh. Hey Crow, did I tell you or you guys that about the new G.I. Joe Transformer crossovers from the guy from The Walking Dead comics? Did I tell you?
Yes.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Those are good. Those you should get those. Those are really good.
But I don't
Hey,
know if I showed it here. I got the
Hey, just noticed real quick, Crypto C guy. I see your comments, and you're borderline being an asshole. And if you don't stop, I'm going to ban you. Stop harassing people on the channel. That's all. You've been warned.
there you go. It's
Sorry for cussing.
Spider-Man Transformers crossover.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. No crossovers are pretty neat. For different things. Maybe we'll get some Evercade crossovers. But would that be actually no? Technically,
Is it literally everything a crossover with Evercade?
Well, actually, no. Katie and Glover, right? Right.
Well, I don't. What do you mean, Katie and Glover?
Like in the intro.
Hello, Ian.
Oh well, I haven't even turned that cart on yet. So
Like in the tutorial, I'm sorry. Infamous in hobbies.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't put.
You haven't played it?
No. I'm on Pico.
Is Crow the worst Evercader?
I'm Indie Heroes 3, which I haven't had a chance to even play this week because I've got more important things to do. Hey, there's new tables coming out in Pinball FX.
Right. No, I mean that's all. No, that's all good. No, and I know like not everybody is just into just an Evercade, but no, like for me, one of the big things is getting a physical copy of an actual cart with an instruction booklet and stuff to be able to open, and the anticipation. You know what I mean? Like,
actually, I'm game wise, I was actually way more interested in what Atari put out for pre-order this week. And I'm not talking about the 7800 plus. I'm talking about all the games they put out for release.
Oh, yes. You mean, sadly, all the games that we probably... Actually, no, we won't. I don't think we'll see another Atari collection for Evercade. I mean, why would Atari when they can just like put out their own...
They might. I don't know. Because, I mean, you're catering to two different audiences there. People who want to play these cartridges on a 2600 or, people that just want to play in the Evercade.
That's true. But
I wonder if it's a possibility. I just don't think it'll happen like right away, No. And we're getting Indie Heroes and a lot of those games that are new, they were programmed by people that came out with homebrew collections in the games in the past. So I don't know why it wouldn't be the case where like one of those Atari games. Not necessarily the ones that Atari's released, but that those people have, like all those homebrews that show up on Atari Age. I don't know why any of those games couldn't possibly show up on like an Indie Heroes collection one day.
It could, but no. Like, so Rich had we were talking about this on Car the other night. Rich had an interesting theory because he was saying that with the licenses and everything, he really didn't see that, and I think he had a theory that possibly they may acquire like Songbird, and then you have all those homebrews. And he was saying like, what if they were to come out with like a mini Lynx, like handheld, and some of those homebrew carts and all that. And then maybe we could maybe see like into the Evercade collection down the road. But I think sadly, I mean, Atari's doing really good on their own. They're doing the update to the 50th. I mean, it would be nice. Believe me, I want more Atari and Evercade. But I just don't see it happening in the foreseeable future.
And Audacity Games put out that Alien Abduction game.
So what's funny about that? When Rich did that video like a year ago, it got flagged.
I'll be right back.
It got flagged like with a warning, even though it had nothing to do with the Alien. Oh, speaking of which, Crow, you reminded me, and I mentioned this last time I was live, telling everyone that like on the Alien Abduction video, dude, those sleeves that you made and like the print out, like I'm like, you could have your own Etsy store. Like that was incredible.
I'm still working on these. These were taking a long time. Like
dude, that was my favorite part of your video. But look at that.
I just threw it at the end. So I had the ideas like because all those Atari games, like for like the
it looks like you could like, dude, that's like Etsy.
I thought these were like I bought Fatal Run and like all these Atari games are coming with these sleeves, and I was like, that is a really good idea, and I kind of wanted to do something like that.
Hey, Crypto says to sell them, dude. You totally could.
I don't know. They take way too long.
Yeah,
I don't think people would buy them for the price I'd sell them for because I'm probably spending a lot more money in filament than you think. It's cool. I'm 3D printing these sleeves, and then I got it the right size, and then I had the idea. I was like, oh, you know what? I would love it if I could get the cover art on these things. So I found like the cover art for all the cartridges, and kind of found the right size. Bought this glossy sticker paper, and printed them up. And so like there's that one, and then brown.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
No, because like if I'm playing one of these cartridges, then I could have this out sitting, and I could see the box art too.
Yeah, Ballistic Coffee Boy loves it.
What?
Yeah, no, I threw that just at the end of that video, just as kind of like a bonus thing. advertised this. It would be part
Retro
of the video.
collectors love being gouged.
Uh,
That makes me sad. And giggle.
I know, right?
But I'm like really not. It's weird though. I got last couple of months. I got back into trying. Like I've been wanting to finish the Xbox collection. Like I think there's like 976 games, and I've got like almost 600. And I'm like, I'd stopped for like a year. Then I went shopping with my cousin, and I'm like, I want to play that game, and I don't own it. So I think that might be my end goal in collecting. Is just in the next 10 years, like just see if I can complete the collection.
Nice.
I've been playing those games a lot more. Every time now, this is my new rule. If I buy a game, I play it right away so whenever I come home.
That's good.
Like an old game. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm
what's
actually
going on in
gonna-
Evercade? What's going on? Anything going on in Evercade?
Not as far as I know from the last week.
Oh, the new game is not bad. I didn't mind the new game of the month. It wasn't bad. I played that.
Oh, I forget. Is it that tower defense dog one?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like kind of easy. Which, hey, I'm okay with that. Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah. So that's what that was okay.
Now, I'm actually working on trying to do a little bit of a change of focus on my channel. So you're not going to see like the Evercade videos on my channel like you have been.
Well, you already removed them once and created your own separate channel. What do you like?
No, I'm talking about like I'll still have the videos, but they're not going to be as in depth as they were.
What?
Because I don't really have the time to do everything I want to do. So I'll be just going back to kind of edited gameplay videos, which is I keep changing my mind on what I'm doing, and I'm changing my mind again.
Yeah, because like you do put so much work into your videos. They take so forever and so much editing you do, and your OCD.
And that's why there's still 3 collections on my shelf there that I haven't touched.
Yeah.
You do you, man. Do whatever makes you happy. That's all I'm doing. I did a video on Switch up on my channel, and nobody's watching it, but I love doing it. It was the NASCAR game. Like,
oh yeah. I still have to watch that video. I know you put it out.
I know, but nobody's watching it, and I don't care. I'm just having fun. I just put it out because I wanted to play that game because I love, you know me, I love racing games, right? I love arcade racing games, so I'm like, why not, right? And it's actually decent for a budget title, $29. Like, there's a lot to do there. It's like Mario Kart meets cruising kind of game.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
So speaking of time and being busy, before I forget, let me share my polls because I was just very curious. I'm going to ask people how many hours a day do you play retro or indie games, not just video games in general, and kind of 7% of the people play 5+ hours a day. Good Lord!
Oh my gosh, I would probably say, for me, it's like maybe it's weird. Some days, like I could spend 2 hours playing a game, and some days nothing. Like it does.
Yeah.
That means video games in general, right? So I don't know. I guess I average out probably less than 30 minutes a day per week if I had to average it out.
Yeah, it's hard to.
So I can't answer that.
Number,
like, yeah,
especially when you're playing in small chunks and you have to keep stopping and going.
because you can play a retro game for 5 minutes and feel totally satiated by that, right? Like you can just say,
Exactly.
"Oh, you know what? I just played 2 levels of Donut Dodo, and that's 5 minutes, right?" Like, and you know, I mean, I played that tower defense game for 30 minutes, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty good, but that was enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So some days I may have 30 minutes, or then maybe it won't be. Then some days I have no minutes, and the weekends I have more time.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of us are busy.
Well, here, if you don't know what to put for a poll, like one that came to mind is, how many hours have you spent playing a game straight through without stopping?
Oh,
Ooh.
I'd say me was probably Unicorn Overload. When I first put it in my Switch, I played it for about 2.5 hours straight, and that's the most I've played any game that long in a while.
I could tell you that for me, it was the first Persona game on the PlayStation 1. I played it for 9 hours straight at one time.
I could see that because
Straight
you've
through
got
the
about
night.
8 hours of that is just silly dialogue between kids and teenagers.
Well, no, the reason was because, well, one, the load times in that game were incredibly long, but for whatever reason, in the final dungeon of the game, there's a huge stretch of the game where there's no save point.
Oh yeah, that's just bullshit.
Lovely.
And then I made it to the final boss and then died and had to do the whole thing over again.
But like I've said so many times, this is a great poll just to pose that, like, my thought process on it. Like, so it's kind of a flawed poll, but I get it. But it's still a good poll because I've told everybody, I've been transparent about it. The reason I got a YouTube channel is it forces me to play my games because I'm sharing it with people and I share my experiences with them, but I'm also selfishly playing video games. So by doing a video a week or 2 videos a week, I'm dedicating 1 or 2 hours to that. I'm learning new skills in like editing and stuff. That's why I do it, because then it says, hey, I've done my video gaming. I can do my family stuff and work stuff. So that's why I do it. And I think I'm pretty smart for doing that. So I should get a pat on the back. Yes. But that's it. Like I've always said that for the last 15 years doing YouTube. The reason I do YouTube is not because I want to get rich, because that'll never happen. It's because it forces me to play my game in a fun way.
Yep. Sharing experiences. Exactly.
It's incorporating one hobby with another hobby.
Yeah, exactly. Because if Ed didn't stream, you probably wouldn't play half the games he did.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's why Ed streams. Plus, he gets drunk on his streams. So 3 hobbies: games, drinking, and YouTube.
Only no, that's funny. Only like Father's Day, but only holidays, right?
Well, you were streaming last night, and I was I was getting tired. I'm like, been up for over 24 hours, and I'm like, do I watch Ed? And he get me energized so I don't fall asleep, or do I just go to sleep? And I'm like, I'm going to sleep.
Technically,
that's probably good. Yeah.
Because Ed's voices just would naturally keep you awake. It's like,
technically, every day is a holiday. There's like National Donut Day, National Hot Dog Day, National this day, National this day. I had a calendar. Literally every day was something.
Yeah, but yeah.
Lots of good comments.
I play my own game for a living, so I do play probably more gaming than the average bear, right? So
yeah. That's one of the reasons I had to stop playing MMOs, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I have weird. It's weird though. Like Final Fantasy is my long-term MMO that I'll never finish, but I do play it once a year for 3 weeks during Christmas. I'll play it, and then my other MMOs is easy because I've done all the content, so I just wait for a new story. And that takes maybe a few days every year to do because they only get an expansion every year. So
the only MMO I ever got into was Ragnarok Online.
I know, I've heard that story about 5 times.
And the funny thing is, every few years I log in just to see if my characters
and your character's still there,
and they still exist.
I've heard that story 4 times now in the last 4 years.
At this point, they're like 20 years old.
Well, where did you expect it to go? They're not just going to delete your character.
Yes, they might have, because the server I initially went on was a test server with the always looming threat that, we could just erase everything.
Yeah, but they transfer that data, dude. Like, developers, we're not idiots,
Well, the reason was because that test server had like a double EXP rate. So they didn't want to just transfer, characters to because that would have been an unfair advantage, I think. But I think at one point they just didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the RGB TV doing the same thing. Yep.
5 times the charm. I agree with you, Felicity.
Plus, I started playing that game when it was in beta. It wasn't even officially out. Those characters still exist.
Yeah. So, that's why I started Lord of the Rings in alpha and Star Wars: The Old Republic in alpha. I was lucky enough, and I've been still playing those games. But they only do an expansion every other year, so it's like, it's just go in, play the story. It's just fun.
And the funny thing is, I like that game more when it was in beta because it was. I don't know why I enjoyed playing it when it was in a more broken state because it just didn't know what was going to happen. Speaking of polls, though, I do have the poll on my channel for the best Evercade cart of 2020. So I'm in the first semifinal round. So right now it's Data East Collection 1 versus Pico Interactive Collection 1. You want to guess which one's winning?
Pico?
No. Pico Interactive Collection 1 56% to 44%. And so far, this has gotten more votes than any of the other polls so far. And it's not even halfway through the time.
So I can, yeah, I'm actually here on your channel. I need to.
Oh yeah, I've got to go vote for that too. I must have missed a couple votes because I was away for a week. So
just probably one, if anything, because I only do one a week.
If this was arcade, it'd be different. But yeah, no, I'm voting.
There were no arcade collections in 2020, so it only goes up to number 12 for 2020.
Yeah. I love these. It's a lot. They're a lot of fun. So yeah, that's my vote, Pico. And I'm not surprised that it's in the lead.
But being so close too, I was expecting, and it was funny is there was one that got really the one that got the least amount of votes so far was, let's see here, it was Interplay Collection 1. That was up against Pico Interactive Collection 1 and Namco Museum 1, and it got 2%.
Dude.
But nothing so far has gotten 0.
I would hope not. I mean, that would be weird, right? If something did get 0, because it's,
well, I don't know. It depended on what it was up against, because I mean the brackets were all randomized, so I could see potentially a cart that a lot of people don't like up against a cart that a lot of people do like, not getting any votes.
Like if they put the Gremlin collection against anything else, and I'm sorry.
Well, to me personally, to me that would be the case, because I have on my ranked Evercade cart list a Gremlin collection as dead last.
Yeah, for me, I don't know those. I know you really like Worms, but for me, both of those kind of tie.
Yeah,
but
Worms is gross.
What prompted me to create that poll? Because I was like, you know what, because during the what I've had to do sometimes during the week is actually not even get on my Steam Deck, because I know I could get too involved in some of those games, and for the last week I was just like, I haven't played Namco 2 in a while, and so I would just have the EXP sitting next to my bed, and actually I've been playing a lot of Dig Dug 2, which surprisingly I ended up liking, that maybe that Galaga Wartman, and then kind of 30 minutes worth of stuff, and then you turn it off, and then there's no commitment, right? And kind of like what you said earlier, Pete, you play a retro game like that, and you feel like you make a lot of progress because you have fun, especially a score chasing game. God, I can't even talk. Forms is much better with friends. Yeah. I know some games are meant to be multiplayer like that for sure. But
your friends have got to know how to play Worms.
Yes, yeah. No, it's not like a pickup. It's not like Street Fighter 2 where even if you don't know the special moves, you can still jump in and start mashing buttons.
And that's how I kind of got introduced to Worms, was at a LAN party, which those things don't exist anymore, don't they?
Definitely more niche, right? With everything being online and everybody being remote. Yeah. There are probably still people that do that.
In college, we had set up a LAN party every weekend.
Nice. Oh, okay, that's what Toxo was saying, true. But so one question, I think, actually no, I saw this in the Evercade Reddit. I know somebody was saying, do you think that the Evercade Alphas are only going to do the Street Fighter or Mega Man, or do you think it'll be a yearly thing? I think it'll be a yearly thing like the Super Pockets, unless these don't sell well.
I was going to say, I think they're just going to see how well they sell before they decide to come out with any other, collections. Super Pockets apparently must have sold well since they came up with 2 more. Seems like the Atari one is selling really well.
A Bullfrog collection. Oh, interesting.
I'm not familiar with Bullfrog game.
I believe their theme park. They have theme park. I remember High Octane. I think that was Bullfrog.
That's a British developer, right?
Yes. And
Peter Molyneux founded it, I think.
I don't know if there's any Bullfrog game I'd be too into playing, though.
Yeah, I can't remember
Theme
any of
Park
those
Hospital.
games.
Oh, Bullfrog got bought out by EA. So
the problem is, like, I played Theme Park, and for me, it was not anywhere close to Roller Coaster Tycoon, because I love Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, I don't know if those games would really work on the Evercade because they feel like, I think, didn't they make like kind of, I don't know, complex games like require like mouse and keyboard?
I think that
Yeah.
Theme Park did wind up on the PlayStation, so they must have figured some way around, the mouse and keyboard thing.
I guess. I don't know. I'm still adamant that point and click games, like, you need a mouse and keyboard because they were
Magic
designed
Carpet was okay. Syndicate.
Magic Carpet.
That one might be one people would like to see. Magic Carpet. That one was really hyped back in the day, but I never played it. So I don't really know. And then people stopped talking about it, and it like kind of disappeared.
Okay.
So I wonder what the deal with Magic Carpet was, or why it was even hyped to begin with.
Like a Sierra collection would be a lot of fun, but they've got to add like mouse and keyboard support for the VS, and then they're not really going to be. They're not going to be.
And let us play DOS.
Yeah.
VGA and AdLib support.
But yeah, definitely.
I think those games would frustrate a lot of people just because of how frequently you would die in those games.
Yeah, no, they're definitely different, especially like the earlier like King's Quest or whatnot before they added like mouse support, where you just had to like type in like go over here, pick up,
Tell you, the only Sierra games I'm an expert in are the Leisure Suit Larry games.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Phantasmagoria ones a lot. Like that was pretty cool on PC back in the day. Those were like kind of more like quality like FMV games. Sorry, I had a hangnail. But yeah, I wonder because I know when the alphas come out, we're gonna get hopefully analog support. We're gonna get dip switch support for the arcades. I wonder if they are going to enable mouse and keyboard. I think even if they didn't add any more point and click games, they should just do it. Like if you just want to plug in a mouse and keyboard, like how you have that.
What if I wanted to play whatever game with the arrow keys on a keyboard? I should be allowed to do that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting because then I wonder then it'd be kind of weird like to play Duke Nukem 3D, the PS1 version, and like remap the keys on the keyboard and use a mouse. Like, could you get it to play like a, like
I don't know because I don't know if the original game because the PlayStation did have a mouse. Not a whole lot of games supported it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny is I actually used to play Tempest X3 with a mouse because it was analog control.
Huh. Okay.
And it supported it, even though it didn't say it supported it.
That's well, then the Super Nintendo had Super Mario Paint. That's the only one I know that like.
Almost, you'd be surprised how many consoles actually have a mouse. The Genesis had a mouse. I think the Dreamcast had a mouse. Almost now I think about it, almost every console had a mouse.
The Atari had a mouse.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I don't think they did though.
Next, do you think we will get an Oddworld Collection?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I could see that.
I forget who owns a license to that.
Well, I really don't know.
Yeah, no, super. I said Mario Paint, guys. Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
I thought if I didn't say Super Nintendo, I kind of just assumed it was that was the most famous mouse, I think.
Yeah.
But again,
I wonder
only like a handful of games that actually supported that. There was King Arthur's World. I don't even think Lemmings had mouse support because I think Lemmings came out way before the mouse was released on the Super Nintendo.
So like next year, would you guys like? Let's say if they decided just to do like more Giga Cart. Let's say if they said, "Hey, we like," and they put out like a bunch of like PlayStation 1 games. Would that be cool? Or if they do that,
no. Giga Carts with big end, higher end indie games also to that. So I'd like Rogue Legacy 1 and 2, Shovel Knight 1 and 2. Those games on the Giga Cart, those would be freaking awesome. And then maybe some PlayStation 1 games that we wouldn't like. The Strider 1 and 2 would be awesome. That's Capcom, right? No reason why we can't have those Strider collection, 3 of them.
Well, it really depends. I mean, you could get the games first. If the games require the Giga Cart.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm just throwing it. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Invent reasons to have a Giga Cart.
Yeah, but the reason I say that because it seems like when Blaze comes out with a new thing, they tend to overdo it. Like it was what I mean is like it was great. Like arcade carts, we saw a bunch of those. Blue carts, we saw a bunch of those, and now we're seeing Giga Carts. Yeah, and because my fear is that like yes, it is cool some of the games are getting, but I hope we just don't see that on PlayStation 1 game. Like the biggest lackluster this year for me is indies, right?
No, the only reason they're making a big thing of this Giga Cart thing is because they had to explain why those carts would cost more than the other carts. Because all the carts are supposed to be the same price. So if they had to have a higher capacity chip that costs more money in those cartridges, they had to explain why. So they turned a negative into a positive by saying, these are Giga Carts. That's why they're costing $5 more. And But I don't think they're gonna invent reasons to be like, okay, this is a Giga Cart, that's a Giga Cart. It's just if they need that capacity in that cartridge,
right? No, but what I'm saying is now that they have the Giga Carts, they could probably, I think, like Rogue Legacy 1 and 2, like games like that couldn't fit like on a single game. Now they could do that. And I hope we see more indies because that, like the end of last year, we got like a ton of that. We got like the Duke Remasters, we got the Astro Bros, and I miss that. Like I hope next year, giggity carts. I hope next year we see more of those. Like I'm fine with even if they have like more than 2 per year, they can do more as long as they give a reason. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason would be that they need the capacity on the cartridge. That's
right.
Reason.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Though. Like I'm fine if they find games that are over that are like a gig. Like if they put out more of those. It's just Blaze seems to have a theme of doing things in 2s, like 2 super pockets, 2 alphas, so they can do more than 2 of those. Giga
I
carts.
Don't even consider the Giga Cart to be special. It's just a higher capacity cartridge. It's not like it's a different color. It's not a different category.
Right.
It doesn't really mean much to me.
Really? 25 is already complete.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense.
They would probably have to be out in early. It's funny because if they're already complete and we're in August, it's like, shouldn't he be getting head on manufacturing and all that kind of stuff?
Thank you. That's what I was. Yeah.
It's not like they wait for pre-orders to manufacture, right? Because they don't just.
Yeah.
How it's like the cartridges. Which cartridges? Was it the delay? Was it because of the cartridges or was it because of the hardware?
I have no idea.
I don't think the cartridges are being delayed. I think it's always the hardware that's being delayed.
Yeah.
Correct.
No idea.
Yeah, it was because of the EXPRs, but that's why Tomb Raider, got delayed because it was bundled with it, and then Thanos was delayed because they did the dual pack. Yeah. Exactly. That's all that I want. At Blaze, if they could just release the equivalent of 1 card a month, however they want to do it, 1 card a month, 2 cards every 2 months. If they could just do that, I would be happy. I would literally, you know what I mean? I would if they could do that for a year. That would be amazing. Consistency, right? And bring back, I don't know, bring back the showcase, but that would probably be asking too much. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's funny. It's like do they know like their release schedule for next year? They just vaguely know what they're going to release next year. They probably maybe have a vague idea. They probably don't know exact. They can't, nail in those dates and say, okay, we're releasing. Because look at every single roadmap they've ever done at the beginning of the year. It never winds up, being 100% accurate.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it kind of, and it's great because I know we talked about this like 1 or 2 times. It kind of goes like, hey, you guys have been doing this for 4 years. If you're using the same supplier and they can't deliver, then maybe you need to move to a factory that can, unless they don't own the molds and it's going to cost too much. But that's kind of mild. Like they've had like 4 or 5 years to figure this out. And it's this, you know what I mean? And like, I guess here's the other thing that's frustrating too, and maybe I'll get frustrated. So you see that there's delays, and I know like they send the cards to the big YouTubers for like advertising, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of fun. And the funny, I was even saying last night, like, I wish, like, yes, I know I'm a much smaller channel, but I wish Blaze would just let me like buy it. I would buy it early just to get sent to me. Or like I would.
They have a rule. I think they have a rule. You have to be like 5,000 subscribers before they do stuff with you.
Let me tell you
You
this.
just have to not be Ed.
Pete, you're familiar with Gen X grown-ups, right?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Gen X grown-ups. You're familiar with Gen X grown-ups.
Yeah.
I talked to one of the guys from them. I was actually on a call with him because I was explaining pinball stuff to him. And Evercade came up. And he said, we've been trying to get in contact with somebody from Evercade, but they never respond.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I think you have to have I think you have to be 100+ sub channel. I don't know those.
I think they're pretty big at this point.
Gen X grown-up is like 55,000.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's big, but like not big enough. That's what
because apparently, well, I don't know. Maybe. Well, I was thinking like, why did John Riggs get this stuff? It's like, well, John Riggs has games on the Evercade, so maybe that's why. There's just other people that popped up. It's like, oh, here's the Legacy of Kain collection that was just announced. I have it in my hands. It's like, why do you have it in your hands?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I like. And I've said this before. Like for somebody like my chat, like listen, I do this because I'm passionate, but some like my channel is like an advertisement for them. All that I would ask is something, and they kind of sort of used to do this. Like let's say when the Legacy of Kain trailer card hits, like send me the digital assets ahead of time, just so I could like release it like when it comes out on on time. And so I don't know but that's too much to ask. I wish there was better communication with stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not asking for anything for free, but it'd be nice just to be in the know and get access to some of this stuff a little bit like earlier, so that way while I'm at work it could queue up. That's all. you know what I mean? But it's all good. Blaze supports non. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, and like I won't name anyone in particular, but I've seen other YouTubers where yes, they have a big audience, but they couldn't give two dog turds about Evercade, but they send it over to them because it's advertisement. The other thing that I'll say, is that I'll say is that, and I talked to them about this too last night. I wish Blaze would be more like. I wish they could go after licenses and kind of be more aware of what's going on. Like someone was mentioning, like like to get Evercade in Brazil, right? Like that's very expensive as hell to like for the import taxes. But if they had a Sega Master System collection of those like Brazilian games, that would do like really, you know what I mean? That would do like really well. Things like they could even make like a skin of that. A Tetris edition. Tetris is in the buzz. I'm sure getting that license would return back in dividends. Things like that. I wish that they were kind of more up to niche and again, I get like part of the charm of Evercade is finding and like playing those like obscure European titles that we don't really know about. I think they can still do that, but I think they can also branch out and they can have 14, 15 carts a year. They can kind of be more on top of it. I don't know. That's just that's just me, because that's all it takes, man. I mean, imagine like something like it would be like something like and I say Tetris because that's one of the games that one of the beloved games. It's kind of like Mario or Pac-Man, kids can play it, adults can play it, something like that, or put something like in a country like Brazil where they like the Master System is like God to them, like that's like their like favorite console, and I think that alone would sell well. You know what I mean, dude? I seen Tetris handhelds at the dollar store. Probably pick one. I don't know. That's kind of my rant. Because it's like something like Border Collie again. That's cool. But I like let me just put it this way: Game of the Month videos are not received well. Like people don't care about them as much. So it's cool for us, but I just think it's interesting. But yeah, I still think a Tetris handheld would do well. Sega Master System homebrew would do well. I think Intellivision homebrew would do well. Especially, why haven't we gotten like more like an Intellivision homebrew collection? Because they already have the emulator. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
I think they're not a big fans of the Intellivision over in Europe. Have you ever watched a Total? What's the other podcast? The other Evercade, the Total Evercade podcast or whatever. I can't remember who it is on there, but he absolutely hates the Intellivision.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that has to be their biggest market, right? Like it feels like that's where they cater most.
Yeah, I'm like the more of the releases that come by, it's like, well, they're obviously catering to the Europe market, and that's fine. They're in Europe, but that doesn't really to me that much.
But that's what I mean. Though, like, I think it's fine that they do that, but they need to. There's no reason why they can't do both. Is what I'm saying. Like, there's other markets that they could tap into, and they could do special editions. They could do reskins. They could throw out the hardware, and it wouldn't distract them from trying to get releases out on time, getting firmware updates. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's like the Commodore 64 releases. It's like, how many Commodore 64 games have we gotten so far? And most of them, like the only ones that I've known about because they were US centric were the Epix games. All the other ones, like, I really never really played or heard of before.
Yeah, but that's okay. So here's like, that's what I mean. Like, but like, yes, it's cool and it's fun playing those, but like, I feel like something like C60, it's a niche within a niche that really care about it. And again, it's fun for us and fun to explore. But if Blaze wants to get to the mainstream, like Atari, right? Like Atari is a lot more mainstream, and so that's all. That's
Atari. That's the thing. Like the first couple collections, they seem to be they appealed to me like more than the collections we're getting now. Just because, like Atari, that was U.S. centric. I for some reason I think that Atari wasn't that big in Europe.
No.
idea.
No.
I could be wrong on that, but I just have this feeling like in Europe, it existed over there, but it wasn't as huge as it was here. So and then we had like the Technos collection, which were all, we got most of those games. Some of those games never made it to Europe. Again, those were Japanese, Technos, Namco. What else? Interplay, I think, might have been. I think Interplay's US centric. So yeah. So that's what I thought. And then as time goes by, they're getting more and more European centric stuff to cater to that audience. And I could see that.
Yes,
they're in Europe. That's what I mean.
That's what Atari has. So it's like not a secret that the Atari Super Pockets are doing well. That's kind of that's kind of.
Well, see, I wonder, like, with the Atari Super Pockets, how well they're selling. If we could see like the sales numbers, or at least the pre-order numbers between U.S. pre-orders versus European pre-orders. But even from what I've seen from people in Europe, they seem to be on board with the Atari Super Pocket as well. Yeah. If not, maybe the only reason being it has 50 games on it.
Yeah. So that's all. I just think as far as what's popular, like they've done some things like having like the Sunsoft 1 and 2. Like I'm glad to see them try to get more like Japanese developers, right? Because that's like
Sunsoft. Yeah, Sunsoft ones interest me, but again, a lot of the Sunsoft games, like I wasn't really that interested in the Super Nintendo Sunsoft games. Mostly just the NES ones. Yeah.
I just wish they could get back their license with Namco. Like, I wonder whatever happened with that. Like, that's like Namco. That's like I think like Namco's like universally like beloved by like retro gamers, wherever you grew up in.
Well, yeah, Namco, Capcom, Konami, get those games. Those are universally, I would say loved, but maybe that's people know those games from all over the world. They're popular anywhere you go. Just if you give us Contra, don't give us Probotector.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think all those would do. Well, and I don't know that like is it just too expensive for Blaze to pay up? But if they did it right though, I think if you get a big like IP like that, it's going to they're going to make money off of it. I would think, right? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the profit margins are, how much of a licensing fee they would have to pay. I mean, it could possibly be that the licensing fees are more than they would want to pay, and maybe they could come out with a Konami cart or a Capcom cart or something, but those cartridges may have to cost $10 more than another cart. Maybe they don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't
be able to include as many games as they would like on it.
lesser games is fine, but I think they've priced themselves out of it because they can't do that. Because then people will be like, well, why are you giving me less games and being more expensive than a Giga Cart? That's the other thing that they kind of do a little bit, like with the Super Pockets, right? Like they got to be careful that they can't make like an improved Super Pocket because then that would cost more than like the EXP. So
that's why I'm saying like they're in the business of making hardware. So
yes,
that's just life, right? Every 2 years every year you see new hardware, and every couple of years you'll see other hardware not supported anymore by a new cartridge, just like the original Evercade handheld, right? Just the way it's going to be. They're not going to continue. I don't think they're going to go down the road where all new software has to be running on all the historical hardware.
Has there been a cart released yet that doesn't work on the original Evercade?
I have no idea. But I mean, Giga Carts won't work on it, right? Will it?
I don't see why not.
I have no idea. I don't know, but
yeah, because hell, even Glover like plays on the OG like handheld. So yeah, so far, yeah, there are still thousands of consoles. Yeah, like Pico. Yeah, that's true. There are those like.
I don't mind that they focus on European stuff because I haven't played any of that stuff anyway, so it's all new to me. So.
As long as there's a balance, right? Like I think, for me, I like the Discovery. I think the issue is when there's like too many computer collections and too many Pico collections. When you kind of have those kind of too many of those oddball collections, like kind of saturate a little bit. Then
there's not enough computer collections compared. That's the smallest group.
Well, they're trying to catch up to Arcade. I wish I was kind of hoping Arcade could get caught up to the red carts.
But it's probably them not being, able to get, working through licensing deals and stuff. Arcade carts, I think, may be a little bit tougher than the other collections, just because every single game kind of has to run on with different emulator settings.
No, see, I disagree. Like MAME, they're using MAME, and MAME can like all the stuff they put out. MAME easily can handle it. You know what I mean? So that's.
You say that, but that's not 100% true.
I can't because like all the stuff that they've put out, like that's why I kind of say like the Fire Stick, which I don't think is as good of hardware or comparable, could like run like easily could run like any like most like the like the MAME Plus 2003 a lot. It could run like a lot of that stuff. Some stuff not as much, but it
really just depends on what it is. Like I've actually been messing around with the emulation on the Steam Deck, and there's some MAME stuff on that that it won't run very well.
Like like after like once you get past like the 2003s, yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised. No, I was actually kind of surprised that Area 51 didn't run very well on Steam Deck.
Really?
Yeah, it's all choppy.
I'll have to try that. Or maybe I'm running that on CoinOps. I'll have to see. But yeah, there's some stuff that can. Yeah, see, that's what there needs to be more of a mix. Like I feel like Blaze has kind of gone away from that. Like more of a mix of discovered nostalgia. Like that's like with the Namcos and the Ataris and the Data East and Tech, like all that stuff like drove me to it. And I kind of feel like last year and a little bit of the end year, we're just kind of like, hey, we're going to put out whatever we can get a license for. And I get that, right? And I get that, but now I just
Ian Hobbies with the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. Here's the thing with that. The reason why Konami's able to do that on those other platforms is because they're publishing those games. If they were to do it on the Evercade, Blaze would have to do it for them, and I don't know if they would want to do that.
But that's the thing. Like, why wouldn't they though? You know what I mean?
Because they would have to give a cut to Blaze.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, but not releasing it on Evercade, they're getting zero money.
No, they're not getting zero money. They're getting money from other platforms. So if you really want to play those games, if you want to play that collection, you have to buy it on another platform.
But see, that's where I disagree because you can play it for free, and so that's what I mean.
But then if you say you play for free, you've just kind of eliminated everything Evercade related because you could literally play everything on the Evercade for free.
But Evercade offers something different than those other platforms because you actually get like an instruction booklet and a cool case. You know what I mean? That's what no one else is like doing, like the complete in box.
Okay, so if they Evercade comes out with a product, you don't buy it, you could still download a manual from Blaze. You could still download the original manuals if you really want to, if you need instructions.
No, but I'm talking about the physical though. That's what I'm saying. And then they could do like a green, like they could do like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like themed console and have it be green. Like there's a lot that they could do. And yes, it's not going to make as money as Switch, but there's still a lot of money.
Plus,
I think that
you've got additional licensing with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles property. So you've got two things. You've got Konami and you've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Konami and Konami. How much are they selling a collection for? Was that a $40, $60 collection? Do you think Blaze is going to want to put out a $40, $60 cartridge?
No, but they can do it by splitting it, like kind of like what they did with Duke Nukem, right? Like you put out like a $20 collection with 2 or 3 games, you put out a second one, so it will add up to being.
And then you'd have people complaining, is like, why is this on 2 different cartridges when it's on one cartridge everywhere else? Or one
I don't think they would. I didn't see that complaining with the Duke collection. Really, so I think
people have a reason to complain, they will complain.
Well, they will, but I mean, those are far and few between. I think. Well, Super Pockets maybe, and then if they did like a special edition one that was like green and like the shape of a turtle, like that would be cool.
But then you're relegated to playing those games on a tiny screen.
Well, of course, and people love Super Pockets.
No way to play that on a TV, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, but people love that. I'd be willing to pay $30 for a stacked.
So yeah, people would buy it, but I don't know if they'd be able to even sell that Super Pocket for $60 because
I don't know.
You've got additional hardware you're selling, not just a cartridge.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, but the point is like a lot of those collections that were just ROM dumps, or you get to unlock artwork, which I don't really care about as much. Like if you're buying those digitally, it's for ease of it's just for ease of access, convenience, multiplayer, right? Like for me, those are things that I don't really care about as much. But getting something physical, and capturing that nostalgia, having the cart, having the that's all. That's
well,
like,
here's the
thing.
thing
That's to pay for.
I really think that a lot of stuff we're not getting is because Blaze doesn't want to sell cartridges for more than $20-$25.
Yeah,
and that's why they had to come up with an excuse of Giga Carts to release the Tomb Raider collections. They're like, we can't release this at $20-$25. We're gonna have to bump up the price. I know, we'll call it a Giga Cart. And that'll be the reason why it costs more. But you can't put all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games on a cart and then claim it's a Giga Cart, because
exactly
anybody were to look at it, they would know that hey, it's not taking up that much space.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I mean. They've kind of put themselves in this awkward situation.
So they would either just not have to do it at all, or just you say, okay, you know what, this cart has got to cost more.
I think it would be fine. Let's say if they split the Ninja Turtles into 2 collections, put 4 or 5 games on each of them, and they put it at the same price as a Giga Cart for $25.
But again, they also have to let Konami let Blaze make the carts for Konami, and Konami's got to be okay with that. Like, what they said is how they source the ROMs. The publisher has got to give them the ROMs to use.
Yeah,
they don't just go and get the ROMs themselves.
Of course.
But from that, basically, Blaze is purchasing the license, and then they are it's just like a one-time fee, I guess they're paying to whoever, and then whatever carts they sell, they earn the profits from. So at least that's the way I'm understanding it. And anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I don't think like if they were to sell a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cart, if they were to get the license, that any of the profits from the sales would go back to Konami at all. But
yeah, I was going to say
the difference. It's like with Konami was publishing it, they would get the profits from every single cartridge being sold, but they don't do business that way.
Right.
And but that might be why they're having a hard time getting licenses like that.
They could even do dual carts, if they did Marvel versus Capcom 1 and 2 on a cart for $25, I think that would, like an arcade cart, I think that would sell insane. And I think people wouldn't complain that there's only 2 games on it. They could do dual arcade carts like that, and that would be incredible. I think it would sell well.
I mean, we have gotten dual carts like the very first one, Xenocrisis and Tanglewood.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I think some people did complain there were only 2 games on that cart, but a lot of people were fine with it, even though I think that, I don't know, I guess it's just because of what the distributors of the games wanted. Specifically Xenocrisis in that instance. I think that cost more than Tanglewood would have.
Yeah. It depends on the game, because I kind of had that mindset. And that's why I think I waited a little bit. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm only getting 2 games. But because you'd get like 20 Atari games on a cart or whatever. But yeah, it is. See, that's the thing. It is, now we're at a point where it is quality over quantity. Like the fact, like the Duke Nukem collections, I think that was maybe Blaze's test. The those remasters, those are fewer games, and those did really well. Tomb Raider, you're only getting 3 games, but and like Legacy of Kain, you're getting 2 games, and that's what I want them to kind of go back to, because like the computer collections are fun and quirky, and some other collections are like that. Sometimes I do enjoy the nostalgia. Sometimes I feel like you kind of like, I don't want to use the word shovelware, but there's people that really look forward to those, and there's other people that are like, you know what, I just give me fewer quality titles. Like for me, the Morph Cat collection, I love that. Those were like smaller indie games, and there was only 4 of those games, and I loved that, because you got kind of like one really good game, and you got some other games. So yeah, I think Blaze is starting to shift. Full Void, we got 1 game. Like that's really what I want to start to see, like some more indie some more indie single or dual carts, Giga Carts that take advantage of that. I think would do really well. I think there is that market where like people are like, hey, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a Steam Deck. I don't want to get like an Anbernic device that maybe technically you could use Portmaster to configure and play some of this stuff, and then you still have to buy. I think there's a market for indie games where people want like $100 device, and then they could just buy carts and get like a couple games. I think there might be a market for that. I could be wrong, but
well, I was just thinking, it's funny. It's like Blaze wants to sell these collections of games for $20, $30, and meanwhile, I'm over on Atari's website buying a single Atari 2600 game for $30.
Yes, see that's what I mean. Like Atari is giving the complete box experience, and you're just getting 1 game, different audience and all that. But that's what I mean. I think it's okay if Blaze does that with like a single or dual cart.
And it's there, even if you go to Audacity Games. Then you're paying a minimum of $60 for 1 game.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. Like if we were to get Paprium on a single cart, I think people would be thrilled for something like that. Even though those folks are weird and difficult to deal with. Because and that's what I'm like trying to say. Like the fact, if you put out something name brand like Capcom, and it's a physical thing, and Blaze has kind of proven this with the Super Pockets and Evercade Alpha. There are people who never were in the Evercade ecosystem, like the arcade ecosystem. They will buy it just to collect it, just to have that physical thing that says Capcom on it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the difference. Earlier that they provide a service that no one is really doing for the price. Yes, there's limited run games and all that other stuff, but they're doing something where they're giving you the best value for the money and getting like a complete box thing. And it's not expensive.
Like, limited run games is a little bit different. But again, I don't really understand the whole when they came out with re-releasing games on the original console, like cartridges. That I never understood, but people are buying them for some reason.
Yeah. Ridge Racer collection. See, that could be. Yeah. So that could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I would take a Ridge Racer collection in a heartbeat. I love those games. Guys, I am going to say goodbye. I have got a mountain of stuff to do today. It starts with Costco.
But you wouldn't be able to do with the first Ridge Racer. You wouldn't be able to pop out the CD and put your own soundtrack.
That was so awesome. And Xbox used to do that too. You used to be able to rip music. Well, you still can from the Xbox to the drive. But yeah, I've got to
Yeah,
go.
you can do that. That's pretty cool.
I'll see you guys all next week. And
All right.
yeah, if you're on my channel, I'm going to put up a members video or a members clip showing some photos from my time at Gamescom. So if you're a member, you can go check that out. Plus, I'm working on a game that I've had on my wish list for a while, so I'm going to take some time and play that today, hopefully. And that video will come up. Right now, I got Arcade Rush. And yeah, I should have another video up within the next 24 hours on the channel. So come on over. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Pete.
Bye, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think we'll be winding things down a little bit here as well. But yeah, definitely, quality versus quantity. So yeah, I think though that Blaze could do if you get the right titles, I think you could just do like dual carts. Like you could even do like a dual cart Ridge Racer collection. I don't know. I think people would still be psyched to pay like $20 and get like two really good games.
But yeah, but then you're getting away from like when you start looking at those original carts, like especially like the Atari carts where you're getting like 20 games on the cartridge, or 15 games, or 13 games. I guess we are getting some of that now. Like the Indie Heroes 3 does have 13 games on it. But it seems like a lot of the carts are just 2 games, 3 games,
But they're quality, like, and like the thing with Indie Heroes that's great is that because you like a lot of like I want to say like a lot of those games, like I wouldn't pay a couple dollars for them by themselves because they're kind of weak, because a lot of them you can beat them within an hour. I mean, they're fun experiences, but the strength of like those kind of games, because you do get a lot of them and you can jump around and you can play them and you can enjoy those individual experiences. It's a nice package collection. So that's how that works. Like in other words, I would never pay like $50 for a physical copy of Quest Arrest. Let me put it there.
But people do, because they've sold that as an individual cartridge.
Yeah.
That one. What was the one on Indie Heroes 3? Do I have the box here yet? What is that game that I can't understand why it even exists? It's a Game Boy game where you're in the apartment and you're talking to your neighbors. The Little Tales of Alexandria. That's the game.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a game. Because I mean, I guess there's stuff to find. There's secrets,
yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Physical stuff sells. Even let's say physical games that aren't as good. So just imagine if you took like a really good, like a really nostalgic publisher, and put it out there. That's what I mean. That's that's kind of the thing. And I get that. I get it. That's what they try to do with the Super Pockets. But now that you can get like an EXP for $100, repackaged junk. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of opportunities that they can get, certain licenses that they could get, like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, put that out there. They could then there's the whole console, like skin it with it. They could special edition.
He says, Ian Hobbies is asking, what games can we expect on a possible Sunsoft Collection 3? See, I don't really know. There's only one game I'm surprised we haven't gotten on 1 and 2, and that's Sunman. And it's because I think it's a complete game. It just never was released. But what's funny is I didn't even realize this until recently, but Sunsoft is still around.
Yeah.
And they're going to start publishing games again.
Yes. I was going to say, actually, if you watch a friend of the channel, Geekstorian, he did a good documentary on that, and that they were gone for all that. That's why you can buy like Blaster Master Zero on Steam and other consoles. Like that's something like new that they released. Poop Slinger. Is that a real super bad games like Poop Slinger?
Yes, actually, it is one of the more expensive PS4 games because they released a game and the website they were selling it on looked super sketchy. It looked like it was out to steal your information. So very few people bought that game.
Yeah,
so
like you
probably. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was out, but I knew that was something they were working on.
Yeah. There's actually, you can get on Steam right now. You can actually get like a Famicom collection, and it's only like in Japanese language. With the problem with that is I think like only a couple of the games are playable to non. If you can't speak or read Japanese because they're RPGs, but yeah, like so, like there's they've made a comeback and all that. and maybe some licenses are too ridiculous and too out there, but I think if they, I think Blaze has seen that. Like Full Void was a great example. That was like something unknown. That was an unknown indie that sold out the special editions. So that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if they got like a well-known publisher or like a big IP. I think it would do. I think they're Medulla. I think they're translated.
They have done that. I mean, that's why we've got the Atari collections, the Technos collections. It's just recently. It seems like there's a lot of focus on the indie stuff that really nobody has heard. Not a lot of people have heard about before. But yeah, we're getting a Toa Plan 3, so yes. But again, I don't know like how popular Toa Plan is. Like obviously a lot of people have heard of Toa Plan, and they're excited to get more shoot 'em ups. But are they as popular as like a Capcom or Konami or Atari?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not even as popular as like Tomb Raider, because people don't recognize the name here in the United States. In Japan, yes, in Japan definitely, but at least here, in the United States, and maybe I'll even say Europe, not as recognizable. But that's what it is, though. It's like it's the name brand. It's the recognition.
Midas. I'm not sure who Midas is. It's not ringing a bell.
But or like I don't know, maybe they have like tried to go after like Capcom go after like the NES titles and things that like they're not releasing on anything because like your modern audience is not going to want to play 8-bit games.
They're releasing them on Switch.
Like Little Nemo the Dream Master, you can buy that like that era of games. Kind of what
I don't know if there are Capcom games on like the Switch. What is it? What do they call it? It's the thing that the NES games or whatever, that if you have like
Switch Online?
Switch Online, yeah.
Yeah.
So those games exist. But you know what? Again, if you really want to play those games, there's nothing that stops you from playing those games. The only thing you're waiting for is something to buy.
Exactly. But it's the whole it's the whole experience. Like for me at least, like getting something like a Konami collection and being able to physically open that and have that is not the same thing as just downloading and queuing up.
Well, here's the thing I'll tell you is that like you're talking about the experience.
Yes.
And for me, the experience of getting a new Evercade collection is not the same. It's not even close to the experience of getting like one of those Atari 2600 games, because with the Evercade, you're getting a collection of games. It's like, and the manual's like, okay, here's that game, here's this game, here's like maybe the history of this game, here's who's made this game. And then with the Atari one, it's the focus is just on that one game, and it feels it feels more like being put back in time where you only buy one game. Whereas with Evercade, every time you get a collection, it's a collection. It doesn't feel like it used to.
That's why I like the fewer games for that, because I feel like it's a general like that focus, because you're able to have that focus.
But that statement there kind of is geared towards the Atari, because you're getting how much fewer than one game can you get?
No, right, yeah. No, I think Atari gives you a good value because you're getting a complete game for $30 versus like a lot of other places would charge $60.
I'm just kind of well they have sold but the $30 price point they're putting out, that's kind of recent. Like when they first started releasing that stuff, we were talking about like $100 a cartridge. Some of the deluxe editions, they're like Mr. Run and Jump. There was a deluxe edition of that, and that was $60. And the deluxe edition was almost no different than the standard edition. It just had a different box art.
Well, that's how I feel about Full Void. That's exactly. It came with a comic book that I'm never gonna read, and maybe some.
Comic! You should read the comic book, because it tells you what the lead up to that, how we got to that situation was. That was my biggest complaint about that. The story of the game was that comic book, because to me it doesn't make any sense.
No, and that's
supposedly telling you the story of why it explains why there's people, like you know how you're running in the beginning of the game, and you can see the shadows of people in the
Yes.
houses, and they
Yeah.
look like zombies, sort of.
Yes.
It explains why. You should read the comic. It'll take you 5 minutes.
Sometimes I like my own imagination. Like I like that I didn't like. I like the mystery, and then the ending and everything made sense.
I didn't like the story of Full Void.
Really?
It did not. The suspension of disbelief. Like there was none of that for me. I couldn't believe what the story they were telling me. It was not. Like I'm supposed to believe like everybody on the planet just put on a virtual reality helmet because they got it for free, and they're stuck in this virtual world, and now all the kids are roaming around the planet free. Where's everybody else? There's got to be people who's like, I'm not putting this virtual reality helmet on. No, everybody on the planet.
There is that. I mean, like there are like there are like science fiction movies and stuff, but it's I love that type of stuff. It's fascinating, like the whole like Matrix thing and all that. But like the great thing though, like is that I do like getting a physical game. Like I do actually. Maybe I get more excited than let's say just going to like a local retro store. And it is fun getting something like when I got like Super Mario Land. Like yes, that was awesome having that physical thing. But there's also like the unknown. So that's what I mean. Like, and that's why I say with like Evercade, it's an experience. It's a serve. And when you get any type of physical games, it's an experience.
But there really haven't been any true unknowns because they announce every collection.
Yeah,
if you're interested, you could look into those games.
Yeah,
even play those games before buying the Evercade cart.
Oh, definitely. No, you definitely can. And I think there are people who also like the plug and play. So there's that, and that's what I mean. Some like devices like this, they hit so many levels. Or for people who don't want to mess around with stuff and just play games, there's the nostalgia aspect of it, and all that. So it's it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of know what you're talking about with the discovery though. But like the biggest discovery for me happened when my wife bought off a Shop Goodwill. They had a box of Atari 2600 games, and they didn't say how many games were in it, but they said what the weight of the box was. So by determining, okay, well, what's the weight of a regular cartridge? It's like we estimated maybe there was about 40 games in there. So we got the auction, and we got it, and I was, trying out the games. And that's when I discovered how much I liked Wizard of War. I never played that game before. And it's like, yes, this game is awesome.
See, that's what I mean. Like, I
not played this before.
Yes. Like I didn't play Food Fight before, like Evercade 7-800. I didn't play, I didn't play that version. I don't think I played the Atari version. So yeah, and that's the thing too, when there's so many ROMs and stuff you can download, like you find out things, or you get like a mystery box like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's why every time I go to Galloping Ghost, I gotta play Wizard of War.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's like, and that's why there have been times where I've been thinking about getting like the Atari 2600 plus or 7800 plus, like for that reason. I think what I'm more waiting for is that for newer carts, like there needs to be like 100% compatibility for like home. You know what I mean? Because like to me, like the only thing, and it's not just software emulation, it's FPGA sometimes. Like the only thing that's frustrating is it's so much to ask the ability if you're going that, like you should just be able to pop in a cart and play it and not have to worry about compatibility. You know what I mean? That's what's a little
so far everything's been compatible, right?
No, well, the community made that so when on Card Rich talked about the new 7800 plus. That was my biggest thing with that when that was like announced. I assumed when they announced it that it would just be real Atari 2600 hardware in there. It wasn't until after I pre-ordered it that I realized, wait a minute, this is running emulation? Why would they be running emulation? Because it's like even the Atari Flashback 2 was using real hardware. And Coleco built their own 2600 with off-the-shelf parts. You think you'd be able to do that these days. And cheaper, because that's old hardware. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe their plan was to make it compatible with 7800 carts, and I guess emulation was the easiest way to do that. But again, you could have just put 7800 hardware in there too. I mean,
Yeah.
and had it running on real hardware or FPGA or something. It still kind of surprises me that if they would have done that, everything would, if it was exactly the same hardware, everything would have just ran like no problem. And even with the using emulation, I was still surprised that things didn't work. It's like, why? It's like Stella literally will run anything. So why wouldn't everything run this?
Something I know, like John Hancock did a video with. I think the problem is that the modern homebrews, like they have like different banks, like in bank switching because they're large. But I would think Stella would still be able to handle that. Yeah,
a game like Circus Convoy or Alien Abduction from Audacity Games, they didn't work right away in the Atari 2600 Plus. But they also will, if you bought like a higher, like a collector's edition, they gave you a ROM, and that ROM you could play in Stella. But by the way, do you know that every single cartridge and ROM is unique? Because when you bring up QR codes, the QR codes are different, so it knows who's submitting scores.
No.
So every single cartridge is. That's why if you were to, I don't know if anybody's posted a ROM of those games or whatever, but that's like literally somebody's. If you were to try and post the score, you're posting under somebody else's name.
Oh yeah.
But I did that actually. What I don't know if you saw my Alien Abduction video, but that got me to. It didn't work. I was like, okay, let me update. I was gonna wait till there was an official update for the 2600 Plus, but I was like, it's already been over half a year since the beta came out, and why haven't they announced anything? Let me just put the beta on there. I put that on there, and sure enough, the games work now. So I don't know what doesn't work on it right now, but
and like when I talked to Rich, that's what they're adopting that firmware in the 7800. But there's absolutely no difference between the 7800 and 2600 except cosmetically. And then it's bundled with different stuff.
Oh, the only difference really is that it's got a wireless controller.
Yeah.
So, that's the only difference as far as I can tell.
I think really, so. Here's what I'm waiting for, and I want a version of either the 7800 Plus or 2000 Plus that's $99. It doesn't come with any games, and just a controller. Like that's like, you know what I mean? I think that would be good.
Basically, you just want the same thing, but without a cartridge.
Because no, because like I don't necessarily know that I want to. Like for me, I don't necessarily like that new game that it comes with looks cool and all that, but I don't necessarily.
You're talking about the 7800, okay?
Yes, yeah. Like just have it come with like a wired control. Like I'd rather buy my own games for like $5 and $10. You know what I mean? Or pay $30 maybe for the games that I do want.
It's funny is that I didn't buy all the games that they released for pre-order. I might eventually. I didn't want to spend that much money all up front. I bought 6 games. I think 4 or 6. I don't remember how many. But that Bentley Bear game, that was one I bought because I was curious.
Yeah, I mean that looks cool.
So I think that's probably the best game they could have bundled with that.
It is. But for me though, like I'm not a big fan of. It seems like it kind of goes back and forth when they force you to buy bundles. Like, can I just get like it used to be still, almost like you get the game for free. I don't know.
Yeah, Toxo. It's still a 9-pin controller port, so you could use any. Yeah. I believe so. I mean, I assume so for the 7800 Plus. Yeah. It just you also have a wireless controller option.
Yeah. But no, I'm kind of like in that same boat. Like for something like if I could get a mystery auction of like 50 games for like $1 each or something like that, and then get like one of those consoles for $100. Then like for $150 investment, then that might be something fun. That might be something fun to do.
Oh, I think that box of games that we got was like $30. I think we wound up paying for.
Yeah, and that's about So
honestly, those days are over. Like I gave up going to Goodwill and stuff because.
Oh yeah, they know.
Would you believe that I got a Genesis with a Sega CD and a 32X attached on it at Goodwill for $20?
Damn.
That's how I got that.
And I take it works and all that.
It worked, yeah.
Did it come with all the Did it come with like all the power bricks and?
Yeah, it came with all the cables and everything. It just was all wrapped up and like that's because that was long before people made a living going out to Goodwills, buying stuff and reselling it.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't believe, like, I found a ColecoVision at Goodwill, and it was like $10 or something.
Yeah, well, especially like in the early, like in the early 2000s and 2010s, like nobody, like the mainstream didn't care as much about like retro games, and you could get things like reasonably priced and find stuff like that.
To me, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. It's like, where were we living? No, I guess it was before 2010, but it was sometime between 2006 and 2010 is when I was finding all this stuff. Like my wife she went to Goodwill. And she came back from Goodwill with a garbage bag filled with Sega Master System games.
Yeah.
They were selling them all for like $2 each.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, see, and that's the whole point of like thrift stores is to be able to do stuff like that.
But you can't do that anymore. You're not going to find it anymore.
No. Only at garage sales where people don't know what they have.
And
they're like,
most of the time,
yeah,
something like that, they're going to be like, oh, what's this? Let me look it up. Oh, it's worth this much. And then they'll either put it on Shop Goodwill or they'll put it behind a glass case and ask $50 for it.
See, that's the problem. They'll ask like twice the price for something that's like in crappy condition. Like, really? But that's what eBay said. Yeah, that's.
I'm going to blow your mind. Would you believe that I got a pinball machine from Goodwill?
Wow.
Not like a super huge pinball machine. It was it was called a Briarwood Rodeo, and it was like maybe half the size of a real pinball machine, and it was like made for the home market, and it was sold by Sears, but it was like halfway between being a toy and a real pinball machine. Now,
nice.
It kind of sucked a little bit because it had 2 flipper buttons, but it didn't matter which one you hit, both flippers went. And that's because there was only one solenoid for both flippers. And so I wound up giving it to my sister so my nieces could play it because I was really into that. But I was like, yeah, get it. Goodwill. It's like $50 or something.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, no, it's gonna wrap things up. So I have to. We should call it here. So no, Atari is one of those things where for now, between having the, like Atari 50 emulation and physical Evercade carts, I'm good. There may be a time when that changes. But yeah, no, I think we do need to wind things down. Is there anything you want to plug either for this or next week?
Well, the only thing I've really been working on is on, I think it's the 29th of August. Yes, August 29th, Pinball FX is coming out with 2 new tables, Goat Simulator Pinball and Princess Bride Pinball. I think I mentioned those last week. But I've been working on, I have access to those tables already, so I've been working on videos for those tables. I will probably have my up for members on the 27th, which I realize is Tuesday. I really need to finish those videos then. And for everyone else, they should be up on the 28th. But nice. I'm also probably going to do kind of single game videos for the Evercade games as well. Maybe starting with Donut Dodo. I kind of want to open that up to like anything else as well. And I'd primarily be taking requests for that kind of stuff as well. Like nice. Whatever gets, I also like all those games that were gifted to me. I'd like to make those type of videos for that as well. So that's primarily the reason why I'm just going to dial down the Evercade stuff. Like
nice.
So basically nice. The next, like the video on Indie Heroes 3 will just be a ranking video pretty much. Cool. Maybe doing that from going forward, and not scripted at all either.
yeah. Heck yeah. No, I never script anything. It's more fun that way.
I started scripting stuff. You know why I started scripting stuff? Because I'd go off the top of my head and I'd be editing the video and I'd say to myself, oh, I forgot to mention this thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. For me, tonight I'll be going live at 9 p.m. Central, and I have no idea what video I'm going to come out with next week before we wait to get the next 2 carts. So it's maybe it depends. I'll see if there may not be a video. Who knows? But yeah, I think this was good. But yeah, I think we do need to. I think we do need to call it and whatnot. Anything else you want to say before I roll the credits?
Party on, dudes!
Thanks, Crash Line, Mr. Shua, Immortal Sojourn, Sucker MC, Ember Cummings, Joe Whiplash.